So, as the title says, I'm just, I've got up today, pottered about, and it's been a bit of a challenge. I've had a little bit of a mental health and physical problems to address, but nothing too much. And I've managed to sit down and eat breakfast at almost 2 o'clock. And it's almost like I'm realising I can almost take a breath for the first while in quite a while. And given part of my physical problems are breathing problems, taking a real actual physical breath isn't going to be the most helpful thing. So what I thought is just pick up the what happened is I've been you'll get what I'm trying to say in a second, but I've been looking at this problem in my life. It's a very, very, very small, insignificant problem that doesn't exist, but given the implications of what led to that problem, it's just my mental health said, try and create an analogy. Try and create an analogy to the means I've shown you of how to communicate to the rest of the world, or what I've asked you to communicate to the rest of the world in terms of, try and create an analogy, because I'm terrible at analogies, but they've been coming thick and fast over the past year because I've just been speaking. Speaking out of I suppose on some level it's desperation, but and that's why I've just been like not thinking about anything. But today it's like there's a little bit of space for the first time in a few weeks, and just thought, why not let's pick up the iPad and express, because I'll find my natural breath a lot quicker by doing that than actually taking taking a breath where I currently am. But the problem that I was going to tell you about is what I'm using to speak to you through, and that is this iPad. So first of all, with myself, as I said, I'm quite autistic, and my dad was a bit OCD. So I learnt from him in terms of just perceiving what it means to be an adult and responsible. And where I'm autistic, I don't know how much that applies, but essentially I've taken on his OCD towards life. So really it's very simple. You just be very careful about everything, don't take risks, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And what's happened is where my mental health gets me every so often, and will literally terrorise me for what used to terrorise me for about 2 weeks. This time it's been a lot longer, like non-stop, relentless antagonisation, and I lose myself in terms of certain elements of my approach to life. I have to go on to life support functionality. It's something I've learnt to do. I got to a place where I couldn't barely do anything. As I said, I've only just eaten breakfast today, and that's a good achievement. My days haven't been structured, but beyond a little shouting, I'm not doing any harm. I'm no harm to myself, I'm no harm to anybody else. I'm still aware if ever my health or my circumstances call that into question, to take appropriate action. So I just have to hold my breath to the terror and almost forget that, because I can't hold it in mind at present, if I'm honest. I'm speaking to you as if I've just woken up after a really, really restful holiday, almost. But I've been terrorised for the last God knows how long. And don't worry, I'll tie everything in a second. But sorry, I'm just taking a little breath. So I have to forget the terror. And I'm just seeing the simplicity of the situation. Just acknowledging today is the first time I've been allowed to just really resting anything that is I'm trying to find the right words for you. Basically, I'm beaten beyond where I should be, but I've been given a little air bubble to just take a break today. So I was saying, this approach to life is my dad's, and I've learnt to be like that. I've learnt to copy him, and just it's quite simple, so doesn't take too much thinking, and it's practical. It's a little bit annoying when you look at, for instance, my father and the way he behaved at certain times as a result of this mentality. But in terms of approach to life, because you don't have to think about what you're doing, you're just like, oh, this is what my dad would have done, this is what my dad would have done. It's a very easy approach to do, and it was very practical in terms of my dad's life. He managed to hold a lot of pressure and deal with life very well, quite well through my eyes. So I try and copy him. When my mental health permits, I'm very much like that. That's how I approach life. I'm very on the ball. I don't like to take risks. I've learnt to care for possessions. But where my mental health has where I've got a mental health disorder, for instance, in the terrorisation of the recent weeks, the last few days I stepped on my iPad and the screen's all cracked, and it's a kick in the teeth, because I know given the space of life, given if I had a bit of ease in my life, I would have taken care of it. I purchased the screen protector for the iPad. I didn't apply it, and I didn't think, when I first saw it broken, I didn't think. I just saw a broken iPad, and I couldn't stomach it, so it just went in the terror compartmentalization, and I had to put it to the side. And I sat down today and I looked at the iPad and I thought, hang on a second, these cracks look like they're only on the surface. I must have put the screen protector on. Long story short, I took off the case, and there's no screen protector on it. The screen's broken, and I'll have to live with that. But if you imagine that scenario, that mentality, and apply that to nearly every aspect of your life, that's kind of like what I'm seeing in terms of my everyday existence with near enough everything. But I ride my mental health, and it comes in waves. This wave seems to be a tsunami in comparison, just because it would have been like 2 weeks, so like I get terrorized for 2 weeks, I get 2 weeks off, or the worst it would have been like 3 months solid and then 3 months off. But this time it's been like it's been about 14 months, something like that. It's just been non-stop, relentless. And yeah, what I thought to try and show us all is, it's not the right way to describe what I want to say, but you can tell I'm a bit beaten and been a bit lazy in raising my energies to applying a proper course of vocabulary to a language I don't really like, to a means of communication I'm not really fond of. But it's laziness in the first instance. Because I know you all know what I'm trying to say. So what I'm getting at is, I think for a lot of us, we live life like we've got a screen protector on. Well, with this society, it's like life is precious, and it's precious to every single one of us on earth. And we all suffer, and we have to accept others suffer, and we have to allow others to suffer. But when the suffering can be so compartmentalized as it is, and unnecessary as it is, and conflicting as it is, because with the world is built on a means of exchange whereby some have, some don't. And the stupidity is often those who don't have their very land robbed to a certain extent and mined for the products to be made in the first instance, to be shipped off to another part of the world. So we all try and live life. I have no real point to make with this. It's just I see the world, and the world makes a point in me, and it creates a pain in me, and all I'm doing is trying to share that pain in a way I can. I'm autistic, so I have trouble communicating. Social anxiety, I've never really been fond of communication. You could call it a disease as well, but I have spirituality as well, because that teaches non-attachment and egolessness, in which case there's no ego to be found in communication. Egolessness really to be found in communication. But I persist, and I learn, and this is what life is showing me. Try and communicate that pain, which is important, in means of health. Because I know health to a certain extent, that's where my focus has been. And you all have an appreciation for health, or you should do. We all should do. So, we're given this thing, this iPad that's called life, you know, and it's beautiful. You can do all of these great things with it. You can see all of these things. You can experience, you can feel, you can sense. and we've got this world, this internet connection, you know, to experience this iPad with, this life with. It's huge. There's so many things in it, so many things on it, so many different aspects. Keep you entertained for all of them, all of time. But there seems to be an issue between our humanness, what we're capable of in the first instance, or at least what conditioning has taken away from us, because it's unclear exactly what is responsible. Is it our humanness that makes us like this, or is it the conditioning we have in the first instance that removes that ability from us? But we're born and we have to live first. But it's like the love for life draws us, pulls us, and by the time we realise the rest of the world and the reality that we live in, it's a bit too late, you know. We've already come alive, we've already lived to a certain extent, even if it's into our teens and we've had I don't know, we've grown up a little bit, we've set our minds forward, this is what I want to do in the world, I've got a chip on my shoulder, F you all, I'm going to do X. And that stops us from seeing the truth. Or it could be, you know, I've grown up and I've had a few good experiences, had a few relationships, started work, earning money, ability to have some say in the world, and a bit of freedom with desire due to receiving money. And by the time you stop and we realize that, because this is relevant to me, absolutely relevant to me, I'm no different from anybody. By the time we realize that the rest of the world is suffering, oh shit, this isn't right, I've got my life to compartmentalise and manage, what's going on with the rest of the world? And I think I'm going to struggle to bring it back to an analogy with the iPad, but what I'll do, I'll leave it open. Sorry for my tone of voice. I'm a lot lighter mentally, clearer mentally than my tone might show, at least in my head. So please forgive me there. But we realise the rest of the world is suffering too. And there's not much we can do about it, really, at that point of realisation. We're so far into our own lives, and our own lives are they're meaningless, you know? What's the point? What is the point of our own lives when we're in pain, if we're honest, as a result of our collective? As we said, you can justify one person having a problem every so often. You can justify a small community having a collective problem. But really, as soon as it gets to a few people suffering together, the rest should come round and help. Offer support, offer guidance, offer love, offer compassion. And it's just unthinkable that we've got huge collectives of people suffering in totally different ways. And we can't stop with all the resources we have, because if we were just to stop, like, let's all turn off the supercomputers, the quantum computers, all the CCTV, the shops, just close it all down, have a proper lockdown. Turn off the TVs. And just stop the whole world. And we were to allocate one brain to then look at the world as a whole, or as a collective brain, to look at the world as a whole and say, what the F are we doing, man? We've got all these resources, these people are suffering, these people are suffering. These people over here are suffering because they have the things these people need, and they don't know how to give it to them. And they're wallowing in their own pity because they have too much of things they don't need anyway. I'm sure we could... Not I'm sure. We can. We can so easily put the world right. And yet we continue. We're all happy. The lockdown's just finished. We're all happy. The sun's out. It's spring. We're all happy. We don't have to worry about this virus anymore. We don't have to worry. So what we do, we have a little break for a few weeks, a few months before we realise the world again, and we're like, oh, okay, we have to take a seat back, and we have to feel bad for ourselves again, powerless again. We had to breathe because we were in lockdown for 2 years. But now it's finished, we have to breathe. And we'll live life, we'll enjoy the sun, we'll enjoy the things that create the poverty on the other side of the world. But it's okay. We'll tell ourselves. It's okay, we'll tell ourselves, because it's not. Tell me, look at the governments all over the world. Where is there any sign of anybody giving an F beyond themselves to say, look, we are a wealthy country, we need to look after child poverty? That's what was on the news today. We need to focus on child poverty in the UK. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We, as a priority, need to look after child poverty in the UK. No. You need to sort out, as a priority, the mental health system to deal with the millions and millions and millions of people that are ill because they can't look at the real level of child poverty in this world. In this world. Forget the UK. The UK, I'm sure there's child poverty. I'm sure there's child poverty everywhere. But how on earth can a politician sit there or anybody with any sense in their mind sit there and say, out of goodwill, out of compassion, out of care, we're going to sort out child poverty in the UK. It's insane. It's like let's compartmentalise it. One of the political parties, I'm going to use Tories just as an example. I don't give a F about any of them, but the Tories are like, right, we've got to show a compassionate side to the nation. So they think we're real. And it's part of their manifesto that they have to show compassion because they're an organisation. And they're like, we've got to work to a budget. So what is the best we can do within that budget? Let's show them care, that we care about child poverty in the UK, because we can allocate 30 million to that. Whereas if we had to do it for the world, we don't have the money. So we just shut up about that. We don't really have care. That's not our problem. It's impossible, isn't it, for politics to have care when it's compartmentalised as it is. It's careless. It's a case of, essentially, we are a corporation, the corporation of the United Kingdom. We are going to do our best to be there for ourselves. Therefore, if you want to live and prosper and not suffer within the corporation of the United Kingdom, you have to be heartless. You have to be careless as a human first. You have to let go of your humanness. I've said it before, there's no way, unless a child is eating and busy, really, really focused in the moment, that if it were to look up and see another child fall over in front of him, it's instinctive that that child go over and help. Where this thing has come from that, oh, he's fallen over, it's funny. I've never understood it. I'm autistic. So let's leave it there. Please tell me, why is it funny to see another human being fall over, given everything we've just discussed? We all live life like we've got screen protectors on everything. Like everything's safe, like we can just carry on because the lockdown's over and we need to take a breath and we need to breathe. But we don't. We don't. And it just continues. The machine continues. That is the current Earth. We don't have answers. We are in pain. Us here, in prosperity, we are in pain. And as a result, in honesty, if you're honest, of the rest of the world suffering. And all you have to do, all we have to do, is take a long, hard look at what is it that takes, that demands a need for desire. What pulls out of us in this world? The need for more. I just have half an idea that if we were to get life in check in terms of bare minimums, like necessities, get rid of disposable fucking incomes, man. Disposable fucking incomes. It really does put it to light. Just if we're talking about language, how disgusting does that sound? Disposable income. There's so much here that we could literally, this is just an idea. Right now, this present moment, there are enough buildings and houses to house everybody in the UK. We've got enough land, enough farmers, you know. We make $3 trillion GDP per year as an economy. I'm sure if we started to just really break that down, start to allocate the resources in farming directly to the UK, allocate first and foremost any resources to purchase extra food for the UK from what we produce, get production down to the bare minimum of what makes sense in terms of resources available, in terms of nature, in terms of revenue income, and that's it. The people have the food. This is very simplistic, but it's a model that could work. What I'm trying to get at is there's enough buildings, there's enough resources, there's enough infrastructure already in the UK. If all that it would take is the people to have some care over that infrastructure, so the average person walking down the street sees a bit of litter and picks that up. Oh, there's a crack in the road. Let me report that. And, you know, it might be that that crack in the road isn't repaired as to the frequency that it currently is. But then again, we just take a bit more care. We all slow down. There's not enough, as many cars on the road as a result. We're all provided the food in the first instance. What we're talking about now is reshuffling modern society because it's not working. And we're all here, we're all stuck here, and we're all needing to do something, and nobody's saying a word of what to do. So here's just an idea that we stop. We're the first country in the world to stop. We have everything here to give life to the people, and we say no more raping and pillaging the rest of the world. We stop. We take on a mentality of Cuba. Cuba have already done it. We just learn from effing Cuba. They're still driving cars from the 1950s that are running better than flipping some of the bangers you got from 5 years ago, because they care for them. They keep it real simple, from my understanding. It's like the mentality that every little bit of land, let's use it for agriculture. They will take little cracks in urban environments and grow food on them. The mentality of the people has to change. We have a TV near enough in every house in the country. What happens if we stopped the flipping? You can all say what you want about the quality of material that's pumped out on the TV, but if we started to pump out educational material of how to sustain your life, how to grow food, how to reserve water, maintain water, how to create a compost pile, how to educate yourself in different ways, we'd have a whole country full of flipping people who are self-empowered to look after and care for themselves, and as a result, as a collective. And when we say no and make a stand and say, look, we're not taking these resources from the rest of the world anymore. We have enough here. We have the infrastructure here. We don't need any more. We don't need any more. The UK, we've got to a point now, this is how I see it, it's had its problems in the past. There are still things to iron out, but as a whole, we've got a fantastic infrastructure. We don't need any more. Let's shut the UK off. Which country next? We are possibly the best country in the world, other than maybe Japan, to do such a thing. Germany also, France possibly, Spain arguably, Italy, who knows, the big European countries, they can do it, but UK, probably the best country in the world to take on such an event. But that's just an idea. What I've shared with you is a pain, and what I've shared with you is reality. Where are you in the process of your iPad and your imaginary screen protector that may or may not save you in terms of life? Are you going to wait to get to my point where it doesn't matter about the screen protector? You want to care for the iPad in the first instance, and life just won't let you. However much you try, life just won't let you, to the point that this thing that you want to care about, because it has value and you own it already, and you don't want it waste, and you should care for your possessions, to get you to stand on it and crack it. It had to do that to me for weeks and weeks and weeks for me to do this. I became so careless to everyday little possessions that I use every day, that I would care for. And I've got a hard case, believe it or not. It's not one of those little plasticky things. But it managed to do it to me. The sun's shining. There's something to be enjoyed.